Portugal, it's often said that you need 2 hours for lunch, 1 hour for eating, and then 1 hour for discussing business. The deals are often finalized during lunch, and bribery is commonly used to get things accomplished. For example, taking your business associate to the most expensive restaurant in the neighborhood, and this is an accepted way of life. Now I'm going to pass it off to Vicky, who's going to speak about profitless bravery.
All right, I'm going to talk about the profitless bravery of the bullfight. So the U.S., they tend to focus on the pega part of the bullfight because they can see violence, human triumph, and misfortune. Whereas the Portuguese really see that the pega as a symbol of bravery. The U.S. also see violence of the pega like they see that of football in America. And other than the obvious difference, football and the pega are not alike at all. So today's football players, they lack the love for the game that previous generations had. And on average, a professional football player makes more than $1 million a year. And I found in a USA Today database that in 2009, Philip Rivers was the highest paid professional football player in 2009 with $25.6 million a year. That's a lot if you ask me. And players, they also lack loyalty to their teams and cities, especially since the advent of free agency. And you can see that with T.O. He's been all over the place when he started his career. You never know where he's going to end up. So on the other hand, the Forcados do not get paid at all because they're amateurs. And while Cavalieros are paid, it isn't nearly as much as professional football players. The Forcados do what they do for the love of the ritual and the lessons that it has taught them. And saving face is also another concept that is important to the Portuguese. So no matter how badly the Forcado is injured by the bull, nothing is worse than an injury to the ego. There are also some business implications that come from the culture of the bullfight. The Portuguese are stubborn but very persistent, and it is important to prepare for dealing with this extreme level of persistence when you're going into business with the Portuguese. A contract that is made with the Portuguese is generally ironclad, and negotiations are typically difficult. Unless a relationship can be built outside of a business setting, success will not occur, and this can also lead to the decision process being long and drawn out. And so in the U.S., there's a saying that when something's going to take a long time, you better bring your lunch. But in Portugal, the saying is you better go out for lunch, because that's how you make the relationships. All right, so there are many differences between the Spanish bullfight and the Portuguese bullfight, as we talked about earlier. In Spain, the participants will enter the ring in descending order of importance, while in Portugal, all the participants are viewed of as equal importance. And in Spain, the president is the one that determines the award given to the matador, while in Portugal, the people in the crowd award it by their applause. Spanish people usually like to show off by dressing very nicely, whereas this is not the case in Portugal, and they wear very humble clothing. In Spain, the bullfight is about control and conquest through death, but in the meaning of the Portuguese is the celebration of bravery demonstrated by the Cavalieros and Forcados. Also, the Spanish will not hesitate to whistle or boo if they're displeased with the performance. But in Portugal, the audience will rarely boo because that is seen as disrespectful to the participants. All right, so like other countries facing globalization, Portugal is obviously concerned that its culture may be significantly altered. So, and today in Portugal, they're trying to position themselves as the west coast of Europe. And they would be a destination for tourists and investors with their natural beauty, history, and strength as an environmentally friendly energy producer. You know how big that is. Everybody's going green these days. And Portugal is also a member of the European Union. And on this slide, I have a picture of the euro. And right here, they have Spain being a part of Portugal. Like it should really have a line right there. And so this symbolism worries Portuguese economists and business leaders because they don't want their companies to be purchased by any other nation, especially Spain, because then they'll lose control. And this is where I would throw it out. Anybody got questions or comments for our presentation? No? All right. And then we have some contact information if anybody else has any questions.